Commander Vex Talonis of the Galactic Survey Fleet had seen exactly 347 worlds in his career, and precisely none of them had tried to eat his ship before. Until today. Sir, the atmospheric readings are, well, they are absolutely perfect, Lieutenant Cora Mixix announced from her station, her 4 ocular sensors blinking in what could only be described as confused delight. Oxygen levels at 21%, nitrogen at 78%, trace gases within acceptable parameters, temperature averaging 15 degrees Celsius. This planet is, for lack of a better term, paradise. X's mandibles clicked together in what his crew had learned to recognize as skepticism. He had not survived 3 centuries of deep space exploration by trusting things that looked too good to be true. And the survey probe? Lost contact 17 minutes ago, sir, Ensign Brack Von replied, his chitinous fingers dancing across the holographic interface. It entered the lower atmosphere and just stopped transmitting. Stop transmitting, Vex repeated flatly. How delightfully ominous. The bridge of the stellar conquest fell silent. Outside the viewport, the planet designated as Catalog Entry 773 blue hung in space like a jewel someone had polished specifically to lure idiots to their doom. Swirling white clouds, vast blue oceans, green and brown landmasses that practically screamed, "Come colonize me. I promise I won't murder you." Vex did not trust it for a second. "Commander, with all due respect," Science Officer Prin Haldex interjected, adjusting his translator collar, "we have lost survey probes before. The equipment malfunctions, solar interference, space debris. This does not necessarily indicate hostile intent from a planet." "Planets don't have intent," Vex muttered. "Planets are rocks with weather. They just sit there being planetary." "Exactly my point, sir." Vex was about to respond when the ship's VI, an artificial intelligence named Mother, because apparently someone in Fleet Command had a sense of humor, he chimed in with her perpetually calm, perpetually irritating voice. "Commander Talonis, I am detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. Multiple sources. Technology level appears inconsistent with preliminary scans." Define inconsistent. The initial scans indicated pre-industrial civilization. Current readings suggest advanced technology. Weapons systems? Power generation. Orbital defense capabilities that should not exist. Every head, appendage, and sensory organ on the bridge turned toward the viewport. "So," Vex said slowly, "either this planet just underwent the fastest technological revolution in galactic history in the last 3 hours, or our scans were wrong." Or, Cora added helpfully, "someone is hiding down there and really doesn't want visitors." Mother, magnify the third continent. The large one. The viewport shimmered and zoomed. What had appeared to be pristine wilderness from orbit resolved into something far more interesting. Structures, roads, cities that seemed to blend into the landscape as if they had grown there rather than been built. "Well," Brack said, "this just became significantly more complicated." "You think?" Vex's sarcasm could have stripped paint. "Open a hailing frequency. All standard diplomatic channels. Let's see if anyone down there feels like explaining why they are pretending to be primitive." The communications array hummed. Static filled the bridge. Then, a voice crackled through. It was rough, amused, and spoke in perfect galactic common, which was either impressive or terrifying. "Galactic Survey Fleet Vessel Stellar Conquest, this is ground control of planet Earth. You are not authorized to approach. Turn your ship around and leave our system immediately." Earth. The name meant nothing to Vex, but the tone meant everything. That was the voice of someone who had said those words before and had the firepower to back them up. "Ground control, this is Commander Vex Talonis. We are on a peaceful survey mission. We mean no harm. We are simply cataloging worlds for potential colonization by Galactic Union members." There was a pause. Then laughter. Actual, genuine laughter that sounded like whoever was on the other end found the entire concept hilarious. Colonization. "Right. Yeah, no, here is the thing, Commander Talonis. This planet is already colonized. By us, humans. And we are not really in the market for new neighbors. We detected no advanced civilization in our preliminary scans. And that is because we didn't want you to detect us. Funny how that works. Cora leaned toward Vex and whispered, "Sir, their tone is extremely disrespectful. Should I file a diplomatic complaint?" "Against whom? A planet that can apparently hide from our scanners?" Vex kept his voice level, professional. "Ground control, we apologize for the intrusion. We will depart immediately. However, we must request permission to retrieve our survey probe." Another pause. This one felt heavier. "Your probe crashed in the middle of the Amazon basin. That is about 8,000 kilometers of rainforest filled with things that would love to eat your probe. And you, mostly you, eat us?" Prin's translator collar squawked. "Is that a translation error?" "No error," the human voice replied cheerfully. "Earth is what we call a death world. Everything here is either poisonous, venomous, carnivorous, or some combination of all three. The air you think is perfect? It is corrosive to most species. The water, filled with microorganisms that will colonize your internal organs in ways you will not enjoy. The plants, half of them are toxic. The animals? They are all toxic. Even the insects will kill you." Vex's mandibles went very still. "You are exaggerating." "Am I? Mother, can you scan the continent below us? The green part? Tell your commander what you find." Mother's voice returned, and for the first time in Vex's experience, the VI sounded uncertain. "Commander, I am detecting over 8 million distinct species in the rainforest region alone. Biodiversity levels are unprecedented. I am also detecting numerous apex predators, parasitic organisms, and several plant species that appear to be carnivorous. I am additionally noting that the atmospheric oxygen content, while breathable, is significantly higher than most inhabited worlds. This would result in rapid oxidation of biological tissues not adapted to this environment. Translation: the human said helpfully, "You would rust. Friends from the inside." "Fun, right?" "This is absurd," Prin stammered. "No species could evolve under such conditions. And yet, here we are. Thriving. Turns out, when your home planet spends 4 billion years trying to murder you, you either adapt or you die. We adapted. Aggressively." Vex was beginning to understand why the preliminary scans had failed. This was not a paradise world. This was a nightmare wrapped in pretty colors. "We will retrieve our probe and leave," he said firmly. "Surely you can allow us that courtesy." "Sure, absolutely. Send down a retrieval team. I will even give you coordinates. Fair warning, though. Last time an alien species tried to land in that region, the planet ate them. Planets do not eat ships. This one does. Good luck, Commander." Ground control out. The transmission cut off. Silence on the bridge. The kind of silence that preceded really terrible decisions. "Sir," Cora ventured, "maybe we just forget about the probe? Write it off as a loss. We have plenty of probes." "Absolutely not." Vex rose from his command chair, his full height impressive even among his own species. "We are representatives of the Galactic Union. We do not abandon equipment because some Deathworld human makes vague threats about carnivorous plants. Prepare a retrieval team. Full environmental suits. Maximum safety protocols." "Sir," Brack said carefully, "I feel compelled to point out that the human did not make vague threats. They made extremely specific threats backed up by our own sensor data." "Prep the shuttle anyway. You are going down there personally?" Prin's ocular sensors widened. "Someone has to show this planet that the Galactic Union is not intimidated by a little biodiversity." Cora muttered something that sounded suspiciously like, "This is how commanders die," but Vex pretended not to hear. 30 minutes later, Vex stood in the shuttle bay with a retrieval team consisting of Cora, Brack, and 2 security specialists named Torg Willens and Mira Kess. They were all wearing full environmental suits that could withstand vacuum, radiation, extreme temperatures, and, theoretically, angry wildlife. Mother, coordinates for the probe? Transmitting now, Commander. I feel obligated to inform you that this is an exceptionally bad idea. Your objection is noted. The shuttle detached from the stellar conquest with a gentle hiss of hydraulics. Vex piloted them toward the planet, watching as that deceptively beautiful marble grew larger in the viewport. Entering upper atmosphere, he announced. All systems nominal. The shuttle began to shake. Slightly at first, then progressively worse. Turbulence, Vex told himself. Just turbulence. Sir, I am reading some very strange atmospheric patterns, Cora reported, her voice tight. Wind speeds are fluctuating wildly. This should not be possible with such stable upper air. Weather on inhabited worlds is unpredictable. This is not unpredictable, sir. This is targeted. Before Vex could respond, the shuttle lurched violently to starboard. Alarms screamed. The viewport filled with dark clouds that had not been there 3 seconds ago. Mother, are you seeing this? Affirmative, Commander. A storm system has formed directly in your flight path. It did not exist 90 seconds ago. Storms don't just appear. This one did. Lightning struck the shuttle. Then struck it again and again. The shields held barely, but the electrical systems went haywire. Half the console displays flickered and died. I am switching to manual controls. Vex's hands flew across the backup interface. But everyone hold on. The shuttle dropped like a stone. They plummeted through the clouds, spinning wildly, alarms blaring, Cora screaming something about how they were all going to die, and she had told him so. Vex fought the controls, fought the wind, fought the lightning that seemed to be specifically targeting their engines. 500 meters. Brack shouted. 400. 300. Vex pulled hard on the control stick. The shuttle's nose came up just enough. They hit the canopy of the rainforest at an angle, smashing through leaves and branches that felt suspiciously sturdy for plant matter. The shuttle carved a trench through the undergrowth, throwing up mud and vegetation, before finally slamming to a stop against something large and unyielding. For a long moment, nobody moved. Is everyone alive? Vex finally asked. Groans answered him. That was probably good. I hate this planet, Cora announced. I hate it so much. Vex checked the external sensors. We are down. In one piece, more or less, life support is functional. Hull integrity at 70%. Could be worse. Could be worse? Brack's voice cracked. Sir, with respect, we just crashed on a Deathworld because the weather attacked us. Turbulence is not an attack. That was not turbulence. That was premeditated atmospheric violence. Let's focus on the mission. Mother, do you still have our position? Static crackled through the comm. Commander, yes, approximately 6.3. Interference from the probe site, warning organic life signs, converging on your position. The transmission died. Mother? Mother. Nothing. Well, Torg said, checking his plasma rifle, this is fantastic. X activated the external cameras. The view outside made his breathing sacs constrict. The rainforest was alive in a way that made no evolutionary sense. Trees the size of orbital platforms stretched toward a canopy so thick it blocked out the sun. Vines as thick as a person hung everywhere, swaying despite the lack of wind. The undergrowth was a tangle of plants in colors that should not exist in nature, several of which appeared to be turning toward the shuttle. Did that fern just move? Mira whispered. Plants do not move. Then explain what I am seeing. Something large crashed through the undergrowth to their left, and to their right. Then behind them, multiple somethings, circling. Arm weapons, Vex ordered. Prepare to disembark. We retrieve the probe and return to orbit. Quick and efficient. Or we die horribly, Cora added. That is also an option. Your optimism is inspiring. They opened the shuttle's rear hatch. Humidity slammed into them like a physical force. even through the environmental suits. The air felt thick, almost syrupy. Every sensor on Vex's suit immediately started screaming warnings about atmospheric toxins, dangerous spores, and something called pollen that apparently wanted to murder them. 6.3 kilometers, Vex said, checking his navigation unit. First, let us move. They had made it exactly 10 steps when the screaming started. Not from the team, from the forest. It was a sound that bypassed rational thought and went straight to the primitive survival centers of the brain. A roar that vibrated through the ground, through the air, through their very bones. It was the sound of something that had never been prey in its entire evolutionary history. What, Brack whispered, was that? Vex consulted his suit's database. According to the scanner, it was a Tyrannus carnifex. Common name, tyrant lizard. Weight approximately 9,000 kilograms. Bite force sufficient to crush starship hulls. You are joking. I wish I was. The roar came again, closer this time. Trees shook. Birds, or things that looked like birds but were probably also trying to kill them, exploded from the canopy in a cloud of screeching color. Run, Vex said. What? What run? They ran. The forest came alive behind them. The thing chasing them was fast. Impossibly fast for something that large. Vex could hear its footsteps, each one like a hammer strike against the earth. Could hear its breathing, wet and ragged and hungry. Left. Cora screamed. They veered left, sliding down a muddy embankment into a stream that looked deceptively peaceful. Vex's suit immediately warned him that the water contained parasites, bacteria, and something with too many legs that was currently trying to bore through his boot. Keep moving. They splashed through the stream, scrambled up the opposite bank, and dove into the undergrowth. The tyrant lizard crashed into the stream behind them, roaring its frustration. Please tell me that thing cannot swim, Mira gasped. The tyrant lizard dove into the water and started swimming toward them with powerful strokes. Of course it can swim, Vex muttered. Why would anything on this cursed planet have limitations? They ran harder. The forest was a maze. Every direction looked the same. Massive trees, choking vines, plants that reached out to grab them. Twice, Torg had to use his plasma rifle to blast apart vegetation that wrapped around Mira's legs. Once something dropped from the canopy onto Brack's shoulders, and it took 3 of them to pry the thing off before it could bite through his suit's neck seal. The tyrant lizard kept coming. How, Brack panted, is that thing still chasing us? A persistence predator, Prin's voice crackled over the comm. He had stayed aboard the Stellar Conquest. Lucky him. Native Earth predators can chase prey for days. Their endurance is legendary. That is not helping. They burst into a clearing. For half a second, Vex thought they might have lost their pursuer. Then he saw what was waiting for them in the clearing and decided that maybe the tyrant lizard had been the lesser evil. The clearing was full of humans. 6 of them, dressed in clothing that seemed designed for this environment, covered in pockets and straps and equipment that looked both primitive and sophisticated. They were all holding weapons. Chemical projectile weapons, Vex realized. Kinetic kill devices that most civilized species had abandoned millennia ago. One of the humans, a female with dark skin and hair tied back in a practical braid, looked at Vex's team with an expression that could only be described as amused resignation. Ground control did warn you, she said in perfect galactic common. We are being chased by a carnivorous reptile, Vex shouted. Yeah, we know. His name is Rex. He is very territorial. His name is Rex? We are not very creative with names. You might want to duck. Vex ducked. The humans opened fire. The sound was deafening. The weapons spat solid projectiles that tore through the air faster than sound itself. The tyrant lizard, Rex apparently, burst into the clearing and immediately caught 3 rounds to the chest. It did not slow down. The humans kept firing, kept moving, working together with a coordination that spoke of years of practice. They spread out, flanking the creature, forcing it to choose targets. More rounds impacted. Armor-piercing rounds, Vex realized, designed to penetrate thick hide. Rex roared, whipped his massive tail, and sent two of the humans flying. They hit trees hard enough to break bones. They got up anyway. Tough species, Cora whispered. The female human who had spoken earlier pulled a different weapon from her belt. It was cylindrical, primitive, and she lit one end on fire before throwing it at Rex's feet. The explosion was not large, but it was enough. Rex stumbled, shook his massive head, and apparently decided that these particular prey items were more trouble than they were worth. With one final roar of indignation, the creature turned and crashed back into the forest. Silence fell. The humans reloaded their weapons with practiced efficiency and turned their attention to Vex's team. "So," the female human said, "you must be the idiots ground control told us about." "We are representatives of the Galactic Union," Vex said, with as much dignity as he could muster while covered in mud and fierce sweat. "We came to retrieve our survey probe." "Aha! And you crashed your shuttle, got chased by a tyrant lizard, and nearly died in the first 15 minutes on our planet. How is that working out for you?" "It has been suboptimal." "Suboptimal." He says suboptimal. The human laughed. "I am Captain Elena Vasquez, Earth Planetary Defense Force. These are my soldiers. We were dispatched to retrieve your bodies after you inevitably died. Glad we can skip that step. Mostly. We would appreciate guidance to our probe." "I bet you would. Unfortunately, your probe is currently inside the digestive tract of a giant anaconda." As mandibles went completely still. "Explain." The probe crashed. Looked shiny. Anaconda thought it was food. Anaconda ate it. Circle of life and all that. The good news is, the snake is probably very uncomfortable right now. The bad news is, you are not getting your probe back without some heavy-duty surgery. And I am pretty sure anaconda surgery is not covered under your insurance. This is unacceptable." "Yeah, well, that is Earth for you. Unacceptable is kind of our thing." Elena gestured toward the forest. "Look, Commander, you and your crew can either come with us back to our base, where we have food, shelter, and medical supplies, or you can wander around this rainforest until something eats you. Your choice. But make it quick. Rex is not the only large carnivore in the area, and dinner time is approaching." As if to punctuate her words, something howled in the distance. Something else answered. Then something else. A whole chorus of hungry somethings, all declaring their intentions toward any available prey. Vex looked at his team. They looked back with expressions that clearly said, "Please do not make us stay in this forest." "We will accept your hospitality," Vex said carefully. "Smart choice. Follow me, stay close. Do not touch anything. Do not eat anything. Do not wander off. And if I say run, you run. Questions?" "Just one," Cora said. "Does everything on this planet want to kill us?" Elena smiled. It was not a comforting smile. "Not everything. Some of it just wants to paralyze you and lay eggs in your body cavity. You know, variety." "I hate this planet so much," Cora repeated. They followed the humans deeper into the rainforest. Behind them, Rex roared one more time, a sound that seemed to say, "I will remember you." Vex was starting to suspect that coming to Earth had been a terrible mistake. He was about to learn that terrible was relative, and the day was far from over. The human base turned out to be less of a base and more of a fortified compound that looked like it had been built to withstand, well, everything. Walls made from some kind of reinforced composite material rose 3 stories high, covered in what appeared to be electrified mesh. Automated turrets tracked their movement as they approached. The guard towers bristled with weapons that made Vex's plasma rifle look like a child's toy. The whole structure was surrounded by a moat filled with water that moved in ways water should not move. "Are those aquatic predators in your defensive perimeter?" Prin asked over the comm from orbit. "Piranhas," Elena confirmed cheerfully. carnivorous fish. They can strip a carcass to bones in under 5 minutes. We feed them regularly to keep them aggressive. You weaponized fish, Vex said flatly. We weaponized everything. Welcome to Earth, where if it moves, we either eat it or teach it to kill for us. Sometimes both. Yeah. The gates opened with a hydraulic hiss. Inside, the compound was a hive of activity. Humans moved with purpose, carrying equipment, maintaining vehicles that looked designed for warfare, and tending to crops that grew in raised beds, surrounded by yet more defensive barriers. Everything was functional, efficient, and slightly terrifying. Your species builds like you expect constant attack, Torg observed. That is because we do expect constant attack, a male human replied. He was tall, heavily muscled, with scars that suggested he had survived things that should have killed him. I am Lieutenant Marcus Okonkwo, second in command. You will find that paranoia is a survival trait here. How comforting, Cora muttered. Elena led them to a building marked Medical Bay. Inside, a human in a white coat looked up from whatever experiment she was conducting and smiled. It was the kind of smile that said, I am very interested in taking you apart to see how you work. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the woman introduced herself. Xenobiology specialist. You are the first non-human visitors we have had in 3 years. I have so many questions. We have more urgent concerns, Vex interrupted. Several of my crew members were injured in the crash and subsequent chase. Of course. Yuki's professional demeanor snapped into place. Let me see them. She worked with quick efficiency, scanning each team member with devices that were simultaneously more primitive and more advanced than standard Galactic Union medical equipment. When she reached Mira, who had taken a particularly hard hit from Rex's tail, Yuki frowned. Fractured exoskeleton, internal bleeding, possible organ damage. This should have killed you. My species is resilient, Mira said weakly. Not that resilient. You are dying. Yuki looked at Elena. I need to operate. Now, do it. What followed was the most terrifying medical procedure Vex had ever witnessed. Yuki worked with tools that looked like they belonged in a machine shop, not a surgery theater. She cut, spliced, sutured, and injected substances that made Mira's body chemistry readings go completely insane. What are you giving her? Brack demanded. Adrenaline, morphine, synthetic platelets, broad-spectrum antibiotics, and a little something I developed myself. Combination of earth plants and fungi that promotes rapid tissue regeneration. You are experimenting on my crew member. I am saving her life. There is a difference. Yuki did not look up from her work. Your Galactic Union medicine is designed for stable, controlled environments. Earth medicine is designed for worst-case scenarios in hostile conditions. We patch people up with whatever works and apologize later if it causes unexpected side effects. Side effects? She might develop a tolerance for toxins, enhanced immune response. Possibly minor regenerative abilities. Hard to say. Human biochemistry interacts strangely with other species. This is insane. This is Earth. 20 minutes later, Mira was not only stable but sitting up and demanding food. Yuki looked satisfied in a way that made Vex deeply uncomfortable. I will need to study her recovery process, the doctor announced. For science. And absolutely not. Your loss. Elena led them to what she called the command center. It was a room filled with screens showing various parts of the planet, tactical displays, communication arrays, and a three-dimensional hologram of the solar system that marked every satellite, station, and ship in orbit. Impressive surveillance network, Vex admitted. We like to know what is coming. Helps with survival. Elena tapped a control, and the hologram zoomed in on the stellar conquest. Your ship is being watched by 3 orbital defense platforms, 12 satellite-based weapon systems, and about 40 drones that are currently painted as space debris. If you try anything hostile, you will be scrap metal in under 6 seconds. We are a peaceful survey vessel. Sure you are? And I am the Queen of Antarctica. Look, Commander, here is the thing. Earth has been visited by exactly 17 alien species in the last 50 years. You know how many of those visits were actually peaceful? I assume all of them? 0. Every single one tried to either colonize us, enslave us, steal our resources, or study us like laboratory animals. So forgive us if we are a little suspicious when ships show up uninvited. Vex felt his breathing sacs constrict. The Galactic Union does not engage in such practices. The Galactic Union did not even know we existed until 3 hours ago. You classified our planet as pre-industrial. You were going to colonize us without even checking if anyone was home. Elena's voice went hard. That does not sound very peaceful to me. Our scans indicated no advanced technology because we hid it. We hid everything. Our cities, our defenses, our entire industrial capacity. We learned a long time ago that looking weak is the best way to avoid attention. But why? The Galactic Union offers protection, trade, cultural exchange. The Galactic Union offers subjugation dressed up as cooperation. Marcus stepped forward. We have intercepted your transmissions, read your treaties, studied your expansion patterns. Every species that joins your union loses sovereignty within 2 generations. You homogenize cultures, regulate economies, and slowly absorb everything into your collective. You are not conquerors, you are worse. You are assimilators who convince your victims that being consumed is in their best interest. That is not true, is it not? Name one species that joined your union and maintained full independence. Vex opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. He could not name one because Marcus was right. The Union was designed to integrate species for their own good, to bring them into the galactic community, to elevate them beyond their primitive origins. It had never occurred to Vex that species might not want to be elevated. You are afraid of progress, he said finally. We are afraid of losing ourselves, Elena corrected. Humans are not nice people, Commander. We are violent, territorial, stubborn, and completely insane by galactic standards. But we are us, our culture, our history, our identity, and we are not trading that for a seat at your table. So you hide here on your Deathworld? We thrive here on our Deathworld. This planet made us what we are. The predators taught us to be aggressive. The diseases taught us to adapt. The climate extremes taught us to survive anything. Earth is our home, our fortress, and our greatest weapon. Any species that tries to invade us has to deal with not just us, but everything that lives here. That is why you let the planet attack us, Cora breathed. The storm, the tyrant lizard, the forest. You weaponized your entire ecosystem. We did not have to weaponize it. It came pre-loaded with murder. We just learned how to aim it. Elena smiled that terrifying smile again. Rex is not our pet. He is an autonomous defense system who thinks he is hunting for food. The piranhas do not work for us. We just know they will eat anything that falls in the water. The plants that tried to grab you, they do that to everything. We just make sure visitors land in areas with the highest concentration of lethal flora and fauna. You are using your planet as a weapon, Vex said, something between horror and awe in his voice. Exactly. That is brilliant, Brack whispered. Terrifying but brilliant. We have our moments. Elena pulled up another display. Here is the situation, Commander. Your shuttle is wrecked. Your probe is inside a snake. Your mothership is surrounded by enough firepower to crack it open like an egg. You are on a hostile planet with no way home. Normally, this is where we would politely escort you to a secure facility and hold you until we decided what to do with you. Normally? But you have been relatively polite. You did not immediately start shooting, and frankly, Rex did most of the hard work of scaring you already. So I am going to make you an offer. What kind of offer? We let you go. We repair your shuttle, give you basic supplies, and point you toward orbit. In exchange, you go back to your galactic union and tell them exactly what happened here. Tell them Earth is off limits. Tell them we are armed, dangerous, and completely willing to feed trespassers to our wildlife. They will send warships. Let them. We have fought worse than warships. Marcus gestured to the tactical display. We have been at war with our own planet for our entire evolutionary history. We have fought plagues that killed half our population, predators that hunted us when we were just scared primates with sharp sticks, ice ages, volcanoes, asteroid impacts, and each other. We have nuked our own cities, burned our own forests, and poisoned our own air, and we are still here. Your warships do not scare us. You are bluffing. Are we? Elena tapped another control. The display changed to show archived footage. Vex watched, transfixed, as humans fought wars with chemical weapons that dissolved lungs, biological agents that liquefied organs, nuclear devices that vaporized entire cities. He watched them survive all of it and come back stronger. You are insane, he whispered. We prefer determined. But yes, also a little insane. It helps with morale. Your planet should have killed you. Everything on this world is designed to kill you. Everything on every world is designed to kill something. We just happen to be very, very good at killing back. Yuki had joined them in the command center. Do you want to know the real secret of humanity, Commander? We are persistence predators. We do not give up. Ever. You can knock us down, poison us, burn us, shoot us, and we keep coming. Because on Earth, the only way to survive is to be more stubborn than everything trying to kill you. And also luckier, Marcus added. Cannot forget luck. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity, Elena countered. Luck is not getting eaten on your way to prepare. They argued like this was a normal conversation, like they had not just threatened to feed Vex and his crew to wildlife, or shown footage of weapons that violated 6 different Galactic Union conventions. Vex made a decision. We accept your offer. Elena raised an eyebrow. Just like that? Just like that. We will leave. We will report Earth as hostile territory. We will recommend that the Galactic Union avoid this system entirely. Really? No demands? No threats? No posturing? What would be the point? You have demonstrated that your species is technologically capable, strategically intelligent, and completely unafraid of consequences. You have also demonstrated that your planet is a death trap that will kill anyone who is not adapted to survive here. Attempting to colonize Earth would cost more resources than it is worth, result in massive casualties, and ultimately fail because you know your terrain better than any invader ever could. I like this one, Marcus said. He learns fast. Thank you. You are welcome. Come on, let me show you your shuttle. We have been fixing it while you were getting the grand tour. They walked through the compound as night fell on Earth. The darkness brought new sounds. Howls, screams, chittering noises that made Vex's skin crawl under his environmental suit. The forest came alive in ways that suggested daytime was when the amateur predators hunted. The night shift is always fun, Elena commented. That is when the apex predators wake up. There are things more dangerous than Rex? Rex is a sweetheart compared to what hunts after dark. Jaguars. Anacondas. Caiman. Giant river otters. Vampire bats. Harpy eagles. And those are just the natural predators. Then you have the insects. I am almost afraid to ask. Smart. Bullet ants. Tarantula hawks. Botflies. Mosquitoes that carry about 40 different diseases. Ticks that can make you allergic to meat. Fire ants that swarm in millions and eat things alive. How, Cora demanded, do you sleep at night? Very carefully. And with weapons. The shuttle sat in what looked like a repair bay, surrounded by human engineers who were welding, rewiring, and generally putting together something that had been thoroughly destroyed by a forest, lightning, and a very annoyed tyrant lizard. We replaced your power coupling, reinforced your hull plating, upgraded your atmospheric shields, and installed a transponder that will identify you as under Earth protection, a female engineer explained. She had grease on her face and looked exhausted but satisfied. Should get you back to orbit. After that, not our problem. We appreciate the repairs. Do not thank us yet. We also installed a tracking device and a self-destruct mechanism. If you try to come back without permission, your ship becomes a firework. Clear? Very clear. Good? She is all yours. The crew loaded into the repaired shuttle. Vex paused at the ramp and turned to Elena. You could join the Galactic Union, you know. Your species has technology, intelligence, and capabilities that would benefit everyone. And lose everything that makes us human in the process? No, thank you. You cannot hide forever. Eventually, someone will come who does not take no for an answer. Then we will feed them to Rex, or the piranhas, or the ants, or the plants, or we will just shoot them. We have options. Elena extended her hand, a human gesture Vex had learned meant peaceful greeting. Go home, Commander. Tell your Union that Earth is closed for business. Tell them we are happy in our Deathworld with our lethal wildlife and our complete lack of interest in galactic affairs. Vex took her hand. It was surprisingly strong. What if we face threats? Hostile species? Existential dangers? Then you deal with them. We have our own problems down here. And if those threats come to Earth? Elena's smile was sharp as broken glass. Then they will learn what happens when you corner a species that evolved fighting everything that ever tried to eat it. But we will adapt. We will survive. We will win. Because that is what humans do. The shuttle lifted off smoothly, rising through the atmosphere without incident. No storms attacked them. No lightning struck. The planet let them go because the humans had decided to allow it. As they approached orbit and prepared to dock with the stellar conquest, Vex looked back at Earth one final time. From space, it still looked like paradise. A blue jewel hanging in the void, beautiful and inviting. He knew better now. That was a death world. And the most dangerous thing on it was not the wildlife, the diseases, or the poisonous plants. It was the bipedal primates who had survived all of it and decided that surviving was not enough. They wanted to thrive. And they had succeeded. Prin, Vex said over the comm. Prepare a report for Galactic Union Command. Classification, Omega level. Entry 773 Blue is to be designated restricted territory. No approach within 2 light years without explicit authorization. What reason should I give, sir? Tell them the planet is inhabited by a hostile species that has weaponized their entire ecosystem. Tell them that attempting contact resulted in equipment loss, personnel injuries, and what can only be described as aggressive discouragement by both native wildlife and the planetary defense forces. Will they listen? Probably not. Someone will try anyway. Humans are not the only stubborn species in the galaxy. What do you think will happen? Vex thought about Rex. About the piranhas. About the plants that grabbed, the insects that killed, the diseases that consumed. About humans who built fortresses on their own world because their own world kept trying to murder them. About a species that looked at a planet trying to kill them and decided the appropriate response was to befriend the murder and pointed at visitors. I think, he said slowly, that whoever tries to invade Earth is going to have a very bad day, followed by a very bad week, followed by not having any more days at all. Should we warn them? We will. They will not listen. But at least we tried. The stellar conquest jumped to faster-than-light travel, leaving Earth behind. As the planet vanished into the distance, Vex allowed himself one final thought about the humans and their impossible death world. Somewhere down there, Rex was hunting. The piranhas were feeding. The plants were growing. And humans were building their defenses stronger, training harder, preparing for the day when someone ignored the warnings and came back. Vex almost felt sorry for whoever that would be. Almost. But mostly he was just grateful it would not be him. 3 months later, A Galactic Union military expedition consisting of 4 battlecruisers, 6 destroyers, and approximately 8,000 soldiers entered the Earth system without authorization. They ignored the warnings. They ignored the defensive platforms. They ignored the satellite weapons. They did not ignore the planet. The official report listed the expedition as lost to unknown circumstances. 13 survivors were recovered 3 weeks later, floating in emergency pods, suffering from what medical officers described as severe psychological trauma, multiple venomous stings, bacterial infections that should not exist, and a unanimous refusal to ever go near planet Earth again. When questioned, the survivors could only repeat variations of the same statement. The planet ate us. The humans just watched and laughed. Back on Earth, in her command center, Elena Vasquez added another mark to her wall tally. 17 invasion attempts. 17 failures. She sipped her coffee, made from beans that would be toxic to most galactic species, and smiled. Earth, 1,000 and counting, she said to no one in particular. The invaders, still 0. Outside, Rex roared his approval. The planet remained closed for business, and humanity remained exactly what they had always been: survivors,